In the NBA, in order to win, you have to score more points than the other team. Legendary point guard and hard-hitting analyst Magic Johnson would tell you so. Now, scoring is only one object of the game, but the other aspects don't matter if you look at the scoreboard when the time hits zero and your team has the lower score. To prevent that from happening, the great players adopt go-to moves that can either get them points whenever, get put on the foul line to get points, or just destroy an opponent's offensive scheme, causing them to adapt. So today we're going to look at the top 11 most unstoppable moves in NBA history. Why top 11? Because it'd be foul to give you a top 10, and we always hit the and one. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. Number 11, Allen Iverson's crossover. The crossover has been adopted by many ball-dominant players, shot creators, and slashers as one of the many means to get open. Tim Hardaway had the UTEP two-step killer crossover. Uncle Drew Kyrie Irving is the ankle taker because of his crossover and chain dribble moves. And Jamal Crawford is literally nicknamed J Crossover. However, the answer's crossover was lightning quick, could be followed by a pull-up that you couldn't defend against, or a drive to the hoop that forced defenses to collapse in. Ty Lue still has nightmares of it, and even Michael Jordan infamously fell victim to the crossover. Battle rapper Murder Mook would tell you Jordan had 35 and still won that game, but the Jumpman only actually dropped 23 to get the dub. But the point still remains. Number 10, the LeBron James drive. LeBron is a freight train and there's no other way to put it. Standing at 6'8" and at his heaviest playing weight was in the neighborhood of 270, he's still just as quick as a guard though. LeBron actually has a few offensive moves in the arsenal. The crab dribble, the post fadeaway, the court vision, and of course his playmaking ability. However, LeBron will beat you first with this drive. He uses his size and quickness to power his way into the paint, will force defenders to collapse out of sheer instinct. If you collapse too much, he kicks it out to an open teammate in the corner or wing, utilizing that court vision. Not enough, and he's dunking or finishing a layup over someone. And of course, his quick first step and his body control are the key to this move. Number 9, Wilt Chamberlain's finger roll. Also honorable mention to the Iceman George Gervin's finger roll as well. But the thing that separates Wilt's finger roll from everyone else's is that he was so big with that soft touch. At 7'1", 290 with a movable strength, there was no way to push him off the block once he got to a spot. He of course had that post hook that he used effectively as well as a fadeaway, but Wilt's go-to move was the one dribble finger roll, usually from the right block. He utilized that to drop 50 points in a season, 100 points in a game, and lead the league in scoring 7 years in a row. So it must have worked a little bit. Number 8, Steph Curry's pull-up three. Now we've had great shooters in the annals of history. Larry Bird, Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, and even Steph's teammate Klay Thompson. However, no player has had the range, efficiency, and volume quite like Steph. You could make the argument that Dame Lillard's range is comparable, and I honestly wouldn't disagree with you. However, Steph's taken more shots, and outside of his injury-shortened 2020 season, has never made under 40% of his threes. Number 7, the Euro step. I went back and forth with myself in trying to figure out whose Euro step I was going to use. The OG Manu Ginobili Euro, James Harden's, or Giannis' Euro step. All three have a legitimate case as they are unstoppable, but for different reasons. Manu's Euro was new and innovative, and he was able to contort his body to get that acrobatic finish. In his younger days, he'd also even get up and give you that Euro step dunk. While the Manu Euro would for the most part avoid contact, Harden's Euro step is clearly looking for contact. Like a laser-focused missile, he'll utilize his first step, then exaggerate the second step to get his opponent into the air or get that contact. Then, like how Wade used the pump fake, he'll jump into the airborne player for the foul, or he'll get that contact for the and one as well. Giannis' Euro step is graceful, and his gazelle-like 6'11" frame allows him to Euro step from outside of the three-point line into a dunk in traffic, which feels like it really shouldn't be a thing. In the end, I went with Harden's Euro step because his finishing ability and body control is the combination of the OG Euro with the power and grace that Giannis has, and he utilizes it with such a high volume that teams end up in foul trouble trying to defend it. Number 6, Tim Duncan's bank shot. Tim Duncan's Spurs became known as this model organization of beautiful ball movement and basketball at the end of the 2000s. But in the early and mid-2000s, they were destroyers of all teams and made the game look too easy by the way they decimated teams. Each member of the Spurs Big Three also had their own signature move. We already talked about Manu's Euro step, Tony Parker had his floater, and Tim Duncan had the bank shot. He utilized it from all sorts of situations, facing up in the elbow, as a pull-up on the mid-range, in the post with a hook, or a fadeaway. He stared into the soul of his opponent and destroyed him with the bank shot, and then he went back on defense to destroy you from that end also. Just a straight Terminator. Number 5, the Black Tornado. Shaq was a big boy. He stood at 7'1", 325 pounds, and was easily one of the strongest players in league history. And he knew it. Shaq would back you down, give you the Black Tornado, and then it was whatever he wanted at that point. Now, the Black Tornado isn't one move, it's actually two, his drop step and his post spin. Because he was so big, defenders had to lean more into Shaq to defend him, and when he realized which side had more force, he would use the defender's weight against them to spin off them for the easy hook or dunk. He legit scored over 20,000 points just off those two moves, even with the double and triple teams. That's unstoppable for you. Number 4, Dirk's fade. This shot shouldn't be successful. It's an ugly, off-balance, one-legged shot.
Step back one-legged. What kind of shot is that?
But then you take into account that Dirk is 7 feet, making it borderline unblockable, and the off-balance fade is done with a purpose, as it creates more space than a typical fadeaway would. The higher, more safe arc of the shot is also propelled by shooting off the off leg, making it akin to a step-back pull-up instead of a typical fadeaway. Other players have tried to emulate it: LeBron, Kobe, Melo, Harden, and a bunch of other all-stars and MVPs. But nobody else has used it as a destructive weapon quite like the big German Dirk Nowitzki. Number 3, Jordan's fadeaway. Air Jordan had a bunch of signature moves: the mid-range shot, the acrobatic layups, and the high-flying dunks. However, as a primarily ISO-focused shot creator, he needed a move that could be done in a one-on-one setting. His fadeaway wasn't something he had coming into the league, but just like everything else Jordan did, he obsessively worked at it until it was the best thing in his arsenal, and one of the most feared moves in the NBA. Number 2, the Dream Shake. Also, honorable mention to Kevin McHale's Up and Under Torture Chamber, a devastating move in its own right that was the prototype for and eventually absorbed into the Dream Shake. The Dream Shake wasn't one move, it wasn't 5 moves, it was an array of deadly shakes, fakes, spins, and up and under moves that the agile Hakeem Olajuwon did to perfection. The Dream Shake embarrassed plenty of big men, including Defensive Player of the Year winner David Robinson, who was absolutely victimized in the 1995 Western Conference Finals. To this day, players are going to Hakeem to teach them the ways of the Dream Shake, from big men to guards like Kobe Bryant, whose more isocentric and grounded game during the second half of his career utilized the Dream Shake to perfection. Number 1, the Skyhook. Kareem scored over 38,000 points, and easily 20,000 of them were using the Skyhook. At 7'2", he was taller than 99% of the centers he played against, and his long arms made this legitimately an unblockable shot. In his entire 20-year career, there have been very few people to even get high enough to block his shot without it being a goaltend. Wilt Chamberlain, who is a mythological being in his own right, Ralph Sampson, who is 7'4" and taller than Kareem, and Artis Gilmore, who is also 7'2" and 7'6" with his afro, who may have blocked the shot in an ABA-NBA game, but it also might have been goaltending. That's it. That is the entire list. As the number 1 all-time leader in points, this unstoppable weapon was the reason why. Alright everyone, did you agree? Let me know in the comment section below, and drop a comment on what you think I should make a video on next. Also, you can follow me on social media everywhere at the Mac Roberts. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.